Welcome to part 2 of episode 6 of ChessWhiz Arcade, season 1. We're working on Uprising and working on the server-client communication. We got a big breakthrough last part by getting database entries working. So now when you create a new game, it puts the game information into the database. But all it does is sit there. It never gets updated. So the next step, of course, is to get it updating. So when you make a move, it moves the player position in the database so that we can track where the player is from the server side in the database. Then we can manage captures, which is the real goal, where you move on to somewhere where there's an enemy and the database is like, good job, you made a capture, and pushes all this grand stuff like success, capture, yay, yay, yay. So that's what we are working on right now. Let me just show you what we have here in the game. As you can see, I refresh and I've got get ready 3, 2, 1, and I move the knight. And it goes. But this is not really moving the knight. It's only moving the knight on the client side, which says, I'm a knight and I'm moving. The server does not know about these moves. So that's the next step, is to tell the server every time you make a move. And I'm capturing the queen, and it says that doesn't work because it moved. So that's the next thing. Let's see what happens. This dot move, see this dot move thing? This dot move. Where's this dot move? So here's move, where it says if you're running, then move in that direction. It also needs to do something else, which is go to the hub manager, which does exist, right? Yeah, nope. It exists over here. Yeah, there's something called a hub manager. There's not. Where's my hub manager? I thought I had a hub manager here. But I guess my hub manager doesn't currently have an instance. I needed an instance of this thing. I want to access this thing so that I can call. Where is the push? Hub dot server dot, right? So that's the hub. So I need to access this hub right here. I can make it all caps, and then it's global, right? I'm having a hard time accessing it. This is a problem. I can't even access my own hub. What a bad way to start a new part of an episode. I want to call hub manager.move player and pass in the direction. And that in turn will call the server's move player, hub.server.move player, but I don't have access to the hub. So logic is getting kind of spread out here. I gotta access this hub. I gotta figure out. I'm figuring out how to make it global so you can get to it. Part of the hub manager. Making a plan. There we go. It's got nothing in it. That's what's stupid. It's an object with nothing in it. Wow, this is a horrible way to start the show. So ChessWhiz is completely flummoxed here, not even getting started, just staring at his computer as he starts. But this hub communicates with the server, and I want to be able to call hub.server.movePlayer, and that's not happening here. I just want to make this thing global. I'm just going to make it global. Can I do that? I don't need a hub manager then. I just have a hub. Fine, it's a hub manager. Find the hub. Every reference to it is now like that. So now I can get to that thing anytime I want, such as from the world. Now I need to make sure that the world is loaded after the hub. So let's look at my bundler. Hub is loaded really early, and the world is loaded at the very end. So that's good. So that means this should fail, but it's called later. So that's kind of fancy. Bam! Now it's going to work. Let's go to the real hub. Instead of a string message, it's going to be a int. It's going to be an int player number. Just an int player. Well, this is 0 or 1 for player 0 or player 1. And a direction, which is actually also an int. Put a breakpoint there. Let's see if this works. When I make a move, it's going to call hubmanager.movePlayer, and then it's going to hit this breakpoint if I did this correctly. And so that's going to tell the server that the player is moving. Come on. Come on, load. Come on, load. Where's the knight? There it is. Bam. Hubmanager.movePlayer is not a function. Well, is there such a thing as hubmanager? Oh. Yeah, there is, but look at it. It's like this actual hub thing that comes from SignalR. So it's actually managed like this, hubmanager.server. And then the function name. So fine, I will do it that way. This is what the hub manager is for. I really want to put a layer of abstraction in here. I really want to say function hub manager and then I give it a function. Give it a function. Prototype.movePlayer equals function. And it's going to take a player and a direction. And then it's going to call this hub. But why would I do this? Why would I have an extra layer in here that all it does is turn around and call the next function up the line? It's to move .server out of the call. And I think I don't need to do that kind of abstraction. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm the world. Do I really need to go that it's .server.movePlayer? I should hide that fact and let the hub manager manage the hub. But really, the only reason I would do that is if I ever left SignalR in the dust and I was like, well, I want to use a different language or a different library for communicating with the server that doesn't use hubmanager.server. But really, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. If it does, I can add the layer then. So let's not overcomplicate this. Let's just make this work. Bam! It moved and it hit this. Player 0, direction 6. Is that awesome or what? I think it's pretty awesome. So this now is being entered. So now let's use it. First we need a direction. Enumeration. And this is actually going to be a knight direction. I'm going to call it a direction because the only thing that moves in Uprising is your own knight. And so it's the direction that your knight is moving. But if this were a cooler game where everything moved, then I would need more kinds of directions. But those will go in their own models folder of their own area. So this area has an enum called direction. You're just going to have to get over it. And so there is no database enum for this. Let's look at what the client side does for directions. I feel like I didn't check in at the end of the last part. Look at all that stuff. Let's just say that I added the database layer. I don't need to save this SQL file though. SQL query 1. This is my migration. That's not really part of the project. Bam! Just checking in this whole mess and being like, that's what I did. But I actually also updated some NuGet packages, which is why it's such a large check-in. So there's a file here in this client side that manages directions. And I think it's in piece. Yeah, it's called night moves. And it looks like that. Now it's a static class. There's no such thing as var in C#, so ha! I'm in JavaScript mode. It's going to take its position and it's going to move. And why is this all? There we go. Now it just has to return. This isn't so easy in C#, is it? In JavaScript, I just made this really fancy structure. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9. Plus equals -1, which would be minus equals 1. Okay. C#3 does have var. I couldn't use var. What was I talking about? That it is a return type. This is such nasty code. What's wrong? Positions do have X. Can't even find position because my code doesn't compile. See, there's X right there. Actually, why doesn't this code compile? Method must have a return type. Public static class position move. Oh, public static position move. The word class is throwing it off something fierce. There we go. If direction's 1, then do that. Let's make it a switch. Is it case? There we are. Now we can take these 1, 2, -2, 2, -2, -1, and 1. And the y's, I'm looking down in this area. I'm just copying this grid up into this grid to make the server work the same as the client. 1, 1, -1, -1, -2, -2. -1, 1, 2, -2, 2, -2, -1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, -1, -1, -2, -2. Okay, so that is going to move. This is how C# switches work. I always forget. Default. So this is going to move this thing. Hey, I'm new, says Imdrin. Can you just test your game to see what's going on? Yes, actually, the best way to do that, Imdrin, is to browse to Arcade. Go there, and then you can actually play this game by clicking Play Now, and you can play the game that works as opposed to the game I'm working on, which I've torn apart. Because this game is playable, you move the knight around and you capture things. It's really hard because knights move in weird ways. And this game works, but everything is on the client side. So what I've been working on last episode and this episode is to get all of the logic moved into the server side and stored in a database, which is really, really hard. But anyway, you can browse there and try out what the game is like and what the game will be like after it's working. I think it's just default without a case. Okay, does that build? Okay. So now I think I'll use this by going back to my hub. I've got move player, int player, int direction. So first I need to get the player out of the database. So to get this using statement here. That's not enough information. Just to know what player number. Imagine I'm the server and I've got all these games going. It's like, oh, I got a message. Oh, player 0 is moving direction 5. Great. I wonder what player you are, right? And also, what if somebody sends a message that says, I'm moving my opponent? And so the server will just allow that. So that's not okay. We need to identify the player better than just int player. So we're going to add some good code here. The player needs more than an ID. The player needs a key, which is the special code that lets you move that player. So if you know the code, you can move him. And if you don't know the code, you can't move him. And that will go there. That will go down here. That will go up here. Okay, so that is a key, and it's called a GUID, which is a globally unique identifier. Create GUID in JavaScript. It's not very easy to create GUIDs in JavaScript, but fortunately 785 people say that this is how you can do it. Which it's kind of a lot of function. 276 people say you can do it this way. So I'm going to here's how I'm going to do it. The server is going to create the GUID. That way I won't need that code because it's really nasty code. JavaScript doesn't have an easy way to create a GUID. So let's go back to the hub here. When you call start, I'm going to create a new Uprising player. An Uprising player is going to have a GUID in it. Yeah. So it's going to have a constructor. This isn't right. I need to set it here when I'm creating it. See that? Oh, that's not right. That'll make it zeros. GUID.create GUID. GUID.new GUID. No, not equals. GUID.new GUID. So this creates a new giant number that nobody knows. and it will save that into the database. How's the game going? Pretty well, Origami Captain, pretty well. But it's slow going right now as always, but especially now because I'm working on the server so you can't even see anything. So when you're creating a new game, it's going to add a new player and give it a new magical GUID. And it's going to create this player and give him a new magical GUID. And then it's going to call start game. And the model is going to include these players that it sends down to the client. Also needs to have the GUID, the player model. Key. Okay, so now the browser, when it receives that, let's go to the browser. Browser receives this thing. And it stores the key. So now the browser's model also needs to have the key. Key can be 0 for now, but it's going to be a super cool string. So I guess it should be an empty quote because it's actually like a word, right? Okay, so it's going to push that string down. So now that's the unique identifier for the player. So now when I say move, where's the move call? Let's pin that. Instead of saying player 0 is moving, I'm going to say player .key. It's going to send that up. So just to show to you guys how awesome this is, I'm going to demonstrate it now. I'm going to put a breakpoint right there. Oh, this is not time yet. It's not time. I have to go. GUID player key. Breakpoint right there. Okay, so check out what these libraries can do for me. They can create GUIDs and send them around the pipe, around the internet like this. So I refresh the localhost page. I hit this breakpoint up here. Loading. Bam. And now game.players contains a player which has a key of, see this huge thing? It's time to start Notepad and put it in there. This is the player's unique identifier. Nobody knows that except the server right now. But then blah, 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 that gets sent down to the browser. Let's see if this works. There's no players in here. Was there an error? Let's try it again. Oh, I changed the database because I've added that and I need to store that in the database. Definitely need to store that in the database. So add migration, add player key. It's not going to run if I add a column and don't migrate that column in. So this is going to add a column to Uprising players, and it's called key. It's a GUID, and it's not nullable. It means it always needs to have one. So now I'll update database. Bam! Super fast and easy. So now if I come over here to my query thing, and I'm like, what's in this players table? That's funny, there's no key column. That's pretty fishy. There should be. Well, let's see if this works. It'll throw an exception if there's no key column. The key is still an empty quote. That didn't work at all. Let's see if this comes back with the key in it. Refresh. Model. Player 1. Player 1. Key. There's key. Yeah. Oh, JavaScript is just letting me hurt myself here. Look at this. Thank you, Happy Zero. Thank you. JavaScript is letting me send this as a fifth input to the constructor. This is a constructor, and I can't believe that it let me just do that without the constructor. I can't believe it because that's the way JavaScript works. But it's like, here's a sword. If you hurt yourself, I won't tell you. Because this thing should actually have key here, and it should set it. It's like, oh, you're passing 5 objects into the constructor. I'm not even going to tell you that I'm only expecting 4. I'm just going to throw away that key and not use it. Now, does it work? No, I don't need to send key equals because that's actually I don't know if that's going to work or not. There, now it passes in the key properly. So this will now maybe do something. Ruffle. Yeah, isn't it ruffle? Isn't JavaScript funny? So funny. So go like that. Let's look at the key. Okay, it's stored in the client. Okay, so now we move. Bam! And now player key, look at that, 94C1. I know if you can see that because it's super tiny. It matches what the client thinks it is, which is 94C1. Doesn't match what I thought it was before because I've run it again and it's created a new GUID. That actually identifies the player properly. So that was a little trick that we used to identify the player. Not only that, but that adds a lot of security to this game because I'm only going to tell a given person what his key is. So his opponent is not going to have his key. So you can't send messages to the server saying, I'm moving my opponent over there. And the opponent will just get stuck in a vortex because of your nice hack. So that's not going to be possible because in the future, I'll keep those keys separate because this is going to be multiplayer. Okay. db.uprisingplayers.first. I want to pull the player out. And say, Uprising players, find the first one, or default, which is if there isn't any, where x dot key is equal to player key. So now I have the player. If player is null, then you did it wrong. You have to have some error handling. So this is at least going to throw an unhandled exception, which will show HTTP 500 in the client. And I don't know if I'm going to get that string or not, but maybe it will. I'll know what's wrong because that's the only time it ever throws. So now I can assume that I found a player. If I didn't find a player in the database with that key, then unhandled exception, everything explodes. At least I will have some knowledge that that happened thanks to my throw statement. So now I've got the player. So now what do? I move him. No, that's not it. Moving a player is not that simple. I've got this weird static class called night moves, and it's in a file called direction. You know what? I'm not really sure where to put my logic. I don't really want to put it in the hub because the hub is already full of code. But I don't want to have it in a bunch of static classes like this either. That's quite poorly organized. I could let the model have the logic itself. I could be like player model.move, but that's just asking for trouble. Normally I would have this in a service layer, but I don't really have a service layer because I am not using dependency injection. So I guess I should still have a service layer. So my solution is to put all of the logic in the hub for now. Put it in the hub. I'll move it out later. See, taking this static thing, putting it right here, making it private so that nobody calls it from the client. Now I can access that. There's so much logic here, so much, because I have to do things like make sure he doesn't move off the board. I have to do things like make sure he doesn't move too quickly, because speedy movers will be breaking the rules. You can only move at a certain speed. I I need a place for logic. That's basically it. I can't just have logic floating around in different random spots. Hello, Daggle10 and Ginger Kiwi and Watanoobs. Hello. I'll just say hi in chat because I don't know what to do. If you guys think this channel is boring, you should watch ChessWhiz TV, which is chess instead of programming. Tuesdays, Thursdays at 6 p.m. GMT. It's way more interesting. You can find more information at chesswiz.tv. It's spelled like that over there. Thinking it over here. I'm going to make two functions, move x and move y. This is so funny. It's funny how bad it is. Because you don't do this, you don't just put it out like that, but it's a knight. Knights move really weird. So this function, you pass in the direction you're moving, and it tells you how far you're moving in the x direction. There is no such thing as moving 5. That's moving nowhere, so I'm taking that out. Now I've got a move y, which is this. Default 0. So this works. It's not that beautiful at all, but it says move x in the direction that you get after applying your current position with the direction. No, all you have to do is pass in the direction. And it tells you how knights move. Whoops. So that's been reduced down to a weird lookup table. Let's put a to-do in there. And let's put it right here, because that's where you need to do it. Now we're going to save changes. So we also need to keep track of all the moves that the player has made, or maybe just their last move time. Yeah, that's what we need to know. So we need to add some information to the database, player, Uprising player, because when it moves, then it needs to take a rest before it moves again. Otherwise, a cheater is going to send a bunch of messages that say it's moved everywhere on the first millisecond. Public int last move milliseconds. And I think that's all it needs to know. No, it might receive its moves out of order, actually. This is a lot worse than you would think. And here's why. You are playing along in your game, and you're just like, I'm moving here. So it sends that message to the server. And you're like, now I'm moving a little further. It sends that message to the server. Well, the internet is not very reliable. So it might be that the second move arrives first, and then the first move. That's a big problem because it'll get the second move and say that's illegal, and then it will get the first move and say, okay, you can move there, and then you're out of sync because the server says you've made the first move only, and the client thinks that you have made both. So the solution to that is to track all of the moves. I think instead of just the last move millisecond. Add a new table, Uprising. Player move, kind of long, but it needs to be Uprising. And it's going to have an ID. And it's going to have a link back to the player. Going to have the milliseconds on which the move took place, MS for short, and it's going to have the direction. I think that's all I need to store. When it moved and where it moved and who moved. Okay. Oh, this is not going to work that so simply. Because I was actually planning on letting the server be authoritative on what's happening. So if you send two moves, the server chooses whether they're legal or not. The client can't just say, I'm moving here and it's legal. So let's take that example again. I'm moving to A and then I'm moving from A to B. So I send those two messages out to the server. The server receives the second one first. I'm moving from A to B. And it also receives from the client a move number, actually. And that's the key that I'm missing. It says move number 3, and the server says, wait, you never made move number 2. Hold on, I'll wait for that. It's not going to work very well. Because then a little bit later, sure enough, move number 2 comes along, and the server says, great. Now I'm going to apply move number 2, and then I'm going to apply move number 3, but you're going to be way behind. This could work. I think that's the best you can do when there's latency like that. When the move occurred in milliseconds and sequence. When the move was occurred in the sequence, move 1, move 2, move 3, etc. And the direction. That way, the server can say, okay, I understand where you're moving. You're trying to make move number 6, and you haven't made moves 4 and 5, so I'll just hold on, and I will apply them. So the server needs to have a cache of move attempts, and that's just terrible. So I'm not even sure how that will all work. I mean, it'd be nice to be able to assume that all the moves will come in order, and then you can just apply them. And if one comes out of order, you just throw it away. But that's not true. I mean, the WebSockets do go over TCP, which means the package is the packet. The transmission is guaranteed to arrive, but it's not guaranteed to arrive in any given time span. You do have to wait and potentially wait a lot more for it to arrive. So it does maybe need to save a cache of move attempts. Because what if move 3 is just not arriving, and you're sending 4 and then 5 and then 6, and the server is like, well, you haven't sent me move 3, so I'm just going to leave you where you started. And 3 finally arrives, and the server says, okay, so I'm making move 3 for you. Then after the sleeping time, after you make that move, you have to wait a little bit, and then I'm applying 4, and then I'm applying 5, applying 6, applying 7. You're going to fall way behind. Maybe the client should wait for the successful reply before it allows a second move. That would make things a lot easier. What if the client said, I will not permit you to make another move until the first one comes in? Let me try that out. I'm going to make a call called OK, which allows you to move again. This is just a spike solution. It's just a test to see if this will work. And when you call OK, then it's going to, this is the client now. It's going to set game state back to a game state not running. But after you move, it's going to actually pause the game. That's not going to use game state. Is OK is true. Is OK is true. No, I don't like an is OK variable. Let's just try using the label. Don't I have a debug manager of some kind in here? Not in there, but maybe in here. Yeah, I've got a function called log. It's going to log the word OK. And then the client, whenever it makes a move, it's going to log wait. I don't need this night moves thing anymore. It's this one. I don't need that file. Okay. So it's going to say, as soon as you make a move, it's going to put wait over here in my debug text. And then after the server replies, it's going to say OK. So this is a test to see if even my latency, and I'm running on localhost, so it's going to be really fast, is fast enough. Oh, I've added new information, which is moves to the context. So let's just take that out for now. I think I haven't changed the player at all. Oh, I added last move milliseconds. That's the problem. Yeah, let's actually not have that just yet because I'm still deciding how this is going to work. Can't run my data project, huh? That's terrible. Okay. Try it. So every move, it's going to say, hey, server, I made this move. Server's going to update the database, and then it's going to say, OK, and then which will show here. Wait. And hit that breakpoint. Found. It did not find the player. What's the key? What's the key? BD5. So let's look in players. I don't see a key column in here. I don't see a key column. It doesn't make any sense. Players is going to be null. So it's going to... Oh, player is not null. It found the player. It's weird it's not showing me that column. Somehow I have to update my link pad. Maybe if I refresh this. Refresh. And then close my query. And can I see it again? There we go. There's the player keys right there. So there's BD5. So it's going to move that player number. Great. Update that, update that. Save changes. I'm leaving this in here because that simulates a round trip to the database. Then it calls OK and it says OK. Nice. So that works. Let's see how it works. The game's a little hard. Wow. It's really fast. Look at that flickering. Wait, OK, wait, OK. Of course, if I capture that, then the game stops because it can't do captures yet. So it's really, really fast. The problem is it's all running on localhost. The server is on my machine. Even the database is a local database on my machine. So that's why it's so fast. So that doesn't really tell me. But I really think that's probably the best idea is you move your knight like this, and then it sits right here until the server replies and says that was a valid move. Because if I let the player move up here next, that would be very robust and nice, but then that's going to send another message to the server, and the server might get that one first. And then everything falls apart. Then it gets really bad. So I'm actually going to just assume this for now, that it's going to hold you back like that. I'm really losing steam though. I'm getting super tired. So I think maybe I'll have to pause this till next week. So let me explain what I'm thinking. I'm going to make that move, and then the server's going to okay it before you can make the next one. And the server is going to receive the move sequence number, so it has to be the right move sequence number. If it's not, it's just going to throw it out, because this client should be able to keep track of what move it's on, and also keep track of whether it's gotten the ACK or the acknowledgement that that move was successful. So we'll keep track of that, and that will track player moves on the server. Unfortunately, I am just really exhausted right now after a lot of streaming. I've been streaming for over 2 hours because ChessWhiz TV was before this, so I'm pretty tired. So I'm pretty tired, and there's a lot of nuances to fix in that. For example, if the player moves and then the OK doesn't come back quickly enough, then the knight is just stuck there on the board. It can't move again, and that's a pretty bad experience for the user. So I'm not even sure if I want to use that solution. So I think I need to do some thinking about this to decide if that's what I want, and maybe some tests to see if that'll work out in a real-world scenario, because obviously localhost is going to run fine, but it might not work so well when it's in production. So, but this has been good. We've gotten some move logic. Not really happy with it, but it almost works, so that's something. We've figured out a few things. So look forward to next week when we'll figure out the rest of this move stuff and let the server track the state. Hope you guys enjoy the show. If you want to find more information about ChessWhiz TV or play the game under progress, I haven't published for a while because I'm breaking it, shifting it to server. But you can play the finished game, the client-side version of the game, at chesswiz.tv. That's chess, W-H-I-Z. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. This has been ChessWhiz TV. Thanks for watching. Wow, I'm just exhausted. I mean, I can't even speak straight, but I'll see you next time anyway.